Hello, everyone. This is Thal McRum, and I figured I'd do something kind of in theme with uh, channel, as well as a game I haven't shown on the channel before, Ostranauts. And what you can probably hear is in the background chatter, simulating people talking between like ships and stations. But basically, the concept of this game is you are someone who lives out in a space station on an asteroid, and your job is to go out and salvage things from ships left there in the scrapyard and bring them back to the space station to pay off your debts and earn money and stuff because you start the game in debt, generally speaking, um, for the ship you have purchased to go and become a salvage operator. Now, we're going to start a brand new game, and we'll go through character creation, and I'll show you all that, and we'll play the first little bit of the game. So here's telling us what's new, because they've fairly recently had a fairly large update, where used to you were kind of stuck in the salvage yard near the space station you started at, and then a few updates ago, they added this thing called the flotilla, which is another salvage yard you can get to, and they added a long range drive you can basically salvage slash buy and put on your ship and get set up and go out there and do salvaging out there, and they have different laws and things. It's very interesting, and they've recently made some more changes around some of that. So let's go ahead and get into it here, and we'll go through character creation. And this isn't just like a normal character creation where you just click on pre-made or customize everything. You do some customization, and then you do some story to generate kind of your character's backgrounds and stories, and it affects your skills, people you might know, gear you start with, training you start with, knowledge, etc. It's very interesting. I love the in-depth, you know, character generation here. Now look at this. This is just the random character it started us off with. Uh, I love the 2000 glasses. This does take place in a semi-post-apocalyptic setting. Um, Effectively, the people out here in space are kind of having to just survive on their own, as communications and stuff between them and Earth is not really good. This is taking place, thinking like Jupiter orbit, if I remember correctly. But let's go ahead and change this. We're going to do a he, him. We're going to change our glasses. And let's see here. Body. Yeah, we want that body. Let's change our head, though. Zoom back in on the head. Zoom back in on the head here. Ah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that one. Let's change our hair a little bit. Kind of like that hairstyle to some extent. Gotta go with a full beard of some sort. Ooh, that one back there was pretty good. See if we get one that matches the hair, though. That's pretty close, but not quite. Oh, that one kind of matches the hair. The lack of mustache bothers me. Alright, let's just cycle through the hairs and see if we can't find something a little easier to work with. Yeah, we don't want something too kept. Oof. These hairstyles are getting hard to pick from. Yeah, that's a little too kept for a full beard. That could work. Let's see what our beard options here. I'm getting closer. Let's go with this one, and we'll find a hairstyle to match it. Maybe. Maybe we'll find a hairstyle to match it. I mean, that's kind of... almost. That might be the best we've got. Alright. Let's see here. See if we like we could do more with the glasses. Ooh. That aviator style there. I like that. Nice. Alright, so let's randomize our name here a little bit. Actually, no, we'll just change it to Thalmicron. There we go. Thalmicron. Just keep it simple. Alright. There we go. Cool. Think that'll work. We'll hit done with character creation. Now this talks about our parents and our birth and all that. Alright. So, unimpressed, low bone density, all that. Insomnia's catching up with you because we have insomnia. I feel like this didn't change our name. Huh, weird. Anyways. Alright. We'll just say... Okay, here we go. Despite your best efforts, your dream of owning your own salvage ship still eludes you. You find yourself wondering if a change of strategy is in order. How you spend the coming years. And so basically, you make a few of these changes, and it lets you do some stuff. So we could seek adventure. We could work on ourselves. We could save some money, which lets us start off with a little bit more money. We could look for a ship to see what ships are available. We could see how things look so far. So if we seek adventure, you can meet people, make money, all kinds of things can happen. Working on yourself, you can improve some of your traits and skills. So like if we click on that, you know, it's telling us, okay, so what, what is it we're going to work on? So we can work on, our skills, like EVA suits, very good to get skills in. You can learn other things. You can also come down to your traits here, and you can pick up traits, or you can even remove traits if you have some. So, for example, we are unfit, so we can't get fit. But we could work on getting rid of unfit, which would cost us 3 years, because we're 18 right now, and the older you get, the worse things are for you. And remember, in this game, because of the environment we grow up in, middle age is like 30, not like 50. So, we don't live as long, generally speaking. Immunosuppress is also a problem, and insomnia is also a bit of a problem. This micro G thing is a bit of an issue. Now, here's the thing: we can fix all of these later on. Like feeble is more of an issue if you're in combat or if you're trying to move stuff around. Visually impaired's also a bit of an issue, but it's less of an issue than this unfit thing, which just makes you get really tired really easily. But I want to fix insomnia, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll do that. All right. Now let's also save some money, so we'll get a little bit, and there we go. That got us like $500. All right. So let's also seek some adventure. Alright. So, Queen of Diamonds matches up nicely with your ladies. Uh, yeah, Hung, the guy who got you into this game, is out. The ancient Nigerian shipping magnate folds. The suit, who you guess is an off-duty military contractor by her demeanor, folds. It's just you and the high roller. He's been trailing for a while. Tell you what, he says, smiling faintly underneath his mirror shades. Let's make this interesting. He tosses a command key for a starship onto the table. The other players go from quiet to deadly still. His only out was the inside straight for a straight flush, and surely he wouldn't bluff with something so valuable, right? Okay, so this is a ship. He's betting us an entire ship. And we could fold, we could cheat, we could grab the key and run, or we could call him on a technicality. Let's try calling him on a technicality. Alright, so we get the pot. Still gave us $300 and we gained skilled in gambling. So that's why sometimes seeking adventure can be useful. Alright, so we're 22. That's not too bad. We got like $900. I don't really want to spend any more time working on ourselves. I do think I want to spend one more year seeking adventure. Okay, woman calls. You stop what you're doing. Mouth dry. So do the dozens of other day workers in the cramped dormitory. A silver class increment in ACS barracks. That's a signal from the next spotter. They're coming. Outside the door and up the access, you hear the clutter of mag boots marching double time. Half dozen of your neighbors flee through the back door. Moments later, you hear a series of sharp cracks and screams. Shocker rounds, you hope. Got a moment to act. What do you do? Alright. So basically, there's some people raiding our barracks that we live in. And we can either hide in an air vent, fake a pressure alarm, bluff, or we have nothing to hide. You know, we're fine. We have nothing to hide. We've committed no crimes. You're on the straight and narrow. Your work is legal and valid. You aren't carrying any contraband, and your rent is paid up 2 weeks in advance. As the AOSEC officers customarily rifle through your closet, one of them steps towards you and offers their card. Reach out if you ever see anything you shouldn't. It's always nice to make a friend. Still, you think to yourself as the officer slams the door behind him, it'd be nice to find a berth with a quieter nightlife. So basically, we've made a law enforcement officer friend. So if we ever run into problems with the law, we've got a friend we can call. So there we go. All right, I think we'll go there. Let's see what kind of ships we can find. All right. ISS Register has given the vessel an OSR of moderate, indicating that it is legal for sale, but does not possess ship systems beyond basic travel and life support. So it has life support and basic travel. You have to be careful. I did one time buy like the super cheap ship. It was like, $1,000, so I could pay outright cash for it. It didn't have life support, and I didn't notice that. That was a very short run. So let's see here. We would owe $800,000 on it. Our payment per shift would be $2,000, so every shift we'd have to pay $2,000. Or, almost $2,200 really. Let's see here. Be nice if I could get a better look at the ship. Doesn't look too bad. So there's our airlock there. It looks like it's got either storage or living area up there, maybe. And there's this pilot seat there. Looks like our oxygen tanks are all in the middle there. Let's continue career one more time. It's not the right ship for us. Let's seek some adventure. Bulks of blackened metal loom all around you as you ride the labor barge out to the boneyard. The barge is so overloaded today, they've got some of you clinging to a cargo web full of Locked crates. Crates with emergency supplies. They'll no doubt deduct from your pay if you have an accident. But the armed guard's back is turned. Ooh, we could report the poor security to our contact. I think. No, it's just... We could hack the lock, cut a hole in the crate, or mislabel the crate. Let's try mislabeling the crate. Some less scrupulous scrap bosses run smuggling on the side, using the labor barge ferry to cover crates. You're willing to bet a mislabeled crate might put it somewhere you and your buddies can get to unseen once it... But to get back to the station, the site manager finds your team for the missing cargo. To make matters worse, one of your brilliant co-conspirators forgot where they stashed the loot. You make them buy the crew a bottle of vodka and let it go. So we've made some friends. And... yeah, so one of our friends is actually a law enforcement officer, and one of them is a shipbreaker. Alright, cool. So, neat. Let's look for a ship again. Alright, here we go. It's legal for sale. Does not possess anything beyond basic travel and life support. Alright. Has a smaller floor plan, making it more fuel efficient and lightweight than other models. These models are simple, mostly just life pods and thrusters, but they work just fine for local travel in the boneyard. Oh, this might actually even be the one I bought one time. Hell, no. More expensive than that one was. It's a salvage tug. I can see tanks, but those could be fuel tanks. And not oxygen tanks. Yeah, I don't... Let's do one more. We're gonna do one more. We're just gonna save some money. Alright. We got another 500 bucks. There we go. Let's seek a ship. Here we go. Trying to offload it. It's a small shuttlecraft used to ferry passengers in local space. It's not pretty, but it has life support thrusters and even a few jump seats if you have friends you don't like so well. Might be just what you need to escape the... Okay, here we go. And it's not much more than the first one we looked at. So we'll take this one. We'll do this one. Because it's got some extra seats, which we could cut out and sell and make space for storage. It should have life support, so we'll take that one. You're now the proud owner of a Tessuto Dream, and now you can reach some of the other outer derelicts beyond the watchful eye of the yard masters. Not sure on your own terms, up to you. Alright. So there we go. And this is just a summary of everything we've done. And we'll just hit submit. So here we are. Now it's basically telling us, here's the tutorial. Yeah, we'll mute the tutorial. Okay, there we go. And let's see here. We got some coveralls. So let's see here. Do you have inventory time? Let's equip the coveralls. There we go. Equip. Equip. That way we have boots. And let's see here. Got toilet, sink, lights, posters, switch. Here's a bin over here. What's in this inventory bin? Nothing in this inventory bin. We're looking just to see if we can find anything else. Like, one would be really nice to have a backpack. There's a bin here. What's in this bin? Nothing in that one either. So this design interface is obviously our character and the stuff we're carrying. So we've got our PDA. We got a cigarette box. And some food. Don't have a backpack. We have a jumpsuit that we're wearing. And right now, oh, here we go, toolbox. It's in the toolbox. Alright, so we're going to pick up the toolbox. There we go. So now we're carrying the toolbox, and that's got welding iron, hacksaw, and a screwdriver. So basically the stuff we need to do our job. Here's a rack. What's in this rack? Anything in this rack? Oh yes, we got a pressure suit, which we're gonna need. Okay. Oh, we got a backpack. Nice. Put the pressure suit in the backpack, along with the helmet for now. Oh, we got a fridge too. Let's see what we got in the fridge. We got a water pouch. We'll take the water pouch. There we go. Okay, so there we go. Alright, we don't need this. Alright. We're going to close our inventory for now. Let's open the door. Cannot open the door. Why can't we open the door? What is going on here? Toggle power? There we go. Okay, power was off. That's why we couldn't open the door. Oh, there's another bin over here. Hold on. Let's see if there's anything in this. We got some trash and t-shirt. Don't care about the t-shirt. Alright. There we go. Now we can go out here. Alright, so this is K-Leg, which is the space station we're at. So it's just telling us about that, and we're just going to continue. There we go. Alright, so our job now... Alright. Pick up this conduit. Okay, there we go. I'm just trying to install this conduit. I'm not sure why it wanted conduit installed here, but we're going to do it. So you can see our character is working on that, and I'm going to speed that up. And our character will get skills from doing things like this. There we go. And okay, so that turned on the door. Oh, there's a rack here in here with stuff in it. Ooh. We got a welder and a combat knife. Nice. Now I'm going to complain about free tools. Especially the welder. The welder is really good for, like, fixing things and restoring stuff. So we're going to go find our way towards the airlock here. That's where our ship should be. So yeah, our ship should be out through this door. The other thing we kind of want to do is check our fuel. Use the fuel kiosk. Alright, so how are we doing here? Do we need to pay anything? We don't need to pay anything. O2 is good. N2, we don't have any storage for that. Our RCS fuel, which is our thruster fuel, is fine. It looks like we're good. So, alright, so let's close out of that. What's this? We don't need a ferry. These guys will buy stuff. So, like, if we had anything to sell, we could sell it here. Now, so, like, we could sell our t-shirt, we could sell the jumpsuit, we could sell the tote. Like, we could sell this tactical knife, but they don't want it. They'll buy the tools and stuff. But we don't have anything to sell right now. The other thing we kind of want to buy at some point. And let's see here if I can find it. What's this? What's this kiosk? Uh, oh, cargo pods and stuff. That's new. That's a new. That's a whole new mechanic I haven't even messed with there. There's a place where you can come and get a license. Yeah, so you can buy a trade license for $5,000 for 24 hours, which we don't have yet. So let's go ahead and get out here. We're going to go to our ship. All right. So what we're gonna do? Wow, this is in kind of terrible shape here. So we need to basically auto task, and he's just gonna start repairing stuff, and we're gonna kind of speed this up a little bit. We could actually remove these seats, but part of the reason, so if I click on this seat, we're just hold on. Okay, he's repairing the floor right now. But basically, he's using the soldering iron to repair the floor. And what I should do, honestly, is switch him into this vac suit here. So let's see here. Put that in there. We'll put that in there. And we'll put that in there. Take this off. We'll put his vac suit on. All right, I have to take his shirt off too. Now we'll put his vac suit on. What is going on? Oh, the shoes. But there we go. We're basically going to live in the vac suit, and we're going to clip this on our side here. There we go. We have like a whole thing here. We'll just leave the shoes, and we'll put the shoes in our backpack for now. There we go. Okay, that's letting him get everything up, because what we can do is, like, if we click on this battery, you can show more, and you see this where it says damage and wear. That's basically the condition of things. And what's going to happen here is since I've set him to auto task, he's going to repair all that stuff. But what we're going to do is we're going to stop for a moment. We're going to close our inventory. We're going to slow down time again. We're going to go find our control seat, which is right here. Which let's restore the control seat before we go too far off here. These control seats are worth a lot of money too, so it's always good to pull these things off ships if you can. But what we'll do is we'll disconnect from the station and go find a ship that we can salvage. And yes, we don't have a license. That's perfectly fine. You don't need a license to salvage. You just need a license if you get caught by the police in this game. So, we'll just be very careful. Go ahead and speed this up a little bit. Get this thing restored. Because I'd really like my nav seat to be in good shape. Wow, he's working hard on restoring. Alright, so our conditions are looking pretty good. Got floor pumps. Good. And you can do a whole bunch of like customization on your ships, from like how the oxygen systems work to setting up alarms for when there's, a loss of air and oxygen and stuff. There's a lot you can do to customize. All right. So let's slow time back down, and let's cancel action, because that's good enough. And we're going to use this. Yep. And this is giving us the instructions, which we're not going to do. So we're going to go to our comms channel first, because we got to go to docking info, and we've got to request clearance and request undocking clearance, and then they'll say approved, and then we can hit the clamps button, and then we can just hit S. We're carrying too much weight and we're unable to move. What? Okay. What? How are we carrying too much weight? Alright. Apparently we need to find Killy Bates. She's apparently having... Alright, so our friend reached out to us, but let's see here. No, that's not what I want. I want to go back. We're going to link that to our PDA. There we go. Cool. There, that is linked. And what does this mean? Because our RCSs... I feel like our RCSs might be having a problem. Thrusters. Intake. Let's just set him back to auto task real quick. And let him just fix some stuff. Because I feel like part of the problem might be our thrusters are in bad shape. We also might need an extra thruster. Because it looks like we only have 2. We may need, 4. Oh, let's see here. Let's approach... Let's not do that. Alright, let's go back to this. And let's go see if we can move. Let's go use the compensation here. Alright, so we've got nav. Here we go. So we're going to zoom out. Find a ship. Let's go just to this one. Alright, so basically I'm using Q and E to rotate the ship. And W to thrust us. So we still got a thruster issue here. So we got a long flight ahead of us. Especially to get over here. As you can see, we're only going 25 kilometers a second here. Yeah, our thrust is not great. So we're going to have to, like, burn kind of hard to get there in any sort of time increment that's reasonable. There we go. Alright. So now we're going on. So what we'll do is we'll go dock there. And see if we can't get another thruster for the ship. Because I think if we can get another couple thrusters, we'll be good to go. Probably, let's see here. Yep, WAD. Target, yep, ship, question mark, cheat sheet. I'm having to remember all my, controls. R is stop rotation. Cool. Oh, we have a match speed button. We're here. Okay, it still does not like the speed that we are traveling at here. But we just have to get close enough, basically, to our target to start docking procedures. And I forget exactly what that range is. But I think it's like 500 meters we can start docking procedures. And we are just going to start. There we go. Just had to adjust our angle here a little bit. There we go. We're going to start slowing down here soon. And that red line is basically pointing us back to the station, the K-leg there. Okay, we missed. That's okay. Alright, so let's try this again. Alright, so we gotta get going back in the right direction here because I missed the target. It's basically you're supposed to switch to this calm things and request docking even though the ship itself is not, like, you know, there shouldn't be anyone. Okay. We're having to slow it down because we're experiencing too many G-forces here. Alright. This looks like that should bring us in pretty close. I'm using A and D to kind of strafe us right and left here on our angle of approach. Because if you notice, we've got these little lines here coming out, kind of showing where our ship's going. And then I'm also just going to rotate us ever so slightly. There we go. Angle us a little bit more to the left there. There you go. Alright, there we go. I had to remember how to dock. So now we got to aim our target here. We had to message your ship and request docking, basically. There we go. And basically, once these little squares are all lined up, we just hit the clamps button. And I'm just doing very slight adjustments with A and D, mostly. And W and S are obviously for your speed. Here we go. Clamps. There. We are now docked. So let's see what kind of ship it is. And it's giving us a little bit of story here. Yeah, we know. Alright. We are committing a crime. Cool. Alright. So let's go into our inventory. Let's grab our helmet. Because it is likely that this is for roster permission. Why will not let me open an airlock? Hold on. Tasks. We are not paused. Okay. How do I change the roster permissions? Roster. Oh. I don't know why it had me set to not being able to open airlocks. Alright. Let's go in here. Alright, let's try to open this door. What do we have here? We have an EVA suit. We're going to pick that up. Bring that back, because an EVA suit by itself is worth lots here. We're just going to put that over here next to our station here. Where's the EVA suit? There we go. We're just going to put that there on the ground. It's in great condition, too. So we get some batteries, we get some air O2 tanks, and we can make good use of that. What do we got here? Floor pump, large pump. Can we access the lock? Oh. Can we pry it open? Can we open it? It says we're opening the door. Let's just uninstall the door. Sometimes when you can't get these doors open, just remove the door. So the other thing we're going to have to watch is our little log down here, because we are in a vac suit. We are not in an EVA suit, meaning there's no fresh air in the suit beyond what was caught in there when we put the helmet on. So with all that said, you could start to asphyxiate if you're not careful. So let's go ahead and speed time up a little bit here while he uninstalls this door. Yep, there it is. All right, so we're going to come back in here, close all that. We're going to take our helmet off. There we go. Because we were basically hitting that CO2 warning. That's what it was. All right, so we've done that. So we can do this now. So we can go back in here. And now we can finish uninstalling this door. Because basically, once we uninstall this door, we'll have access to the ship. There we go. Now, this door is not really worth a whole lot, and this ship, it's definitely got some problems. It's got, you know, holes. It has got a whole bunch of CO2 cans. So this was some sort of gas carrying ship. So we got some mechanical parts. We'll pick those up, I think. Yeah, so let's see here. Ground, we got mechanical parts. We'll put that there. And let's see here what else we got. What's this? That's a floor pump, it looks like. So pick that up, and we're going to take that back to our ship. So that was already not installed, so we're just going to take that with us. So that's just free salvage there. Not particularly valuable salvage, but it's something, you know. And we'll just take that and we'll rotate it. There we go. Put that right there and take off our helmet real quick. Let's go ahead and open this bin here that we've got. We're going to put some of our stuff in this bin that we don't need. We don't need these shoes. We'll keep the combat knife. We don't need jump shoot or the shirt. We don't really need the food either. But we'll keep it for now. There we go. All right. That'll help offload some inventory. And then we'll go ahead and put this back on. And let's go see what else we can find. Because, like, we can uninstall like that pump there and stuff. So what else we got? Oh, we got another thruster. We got some walls. What thruster? That thruster's in pretty good condition. That's good. Let's see here. What else we got? What's this? That is an intake, which we'll probably take. Yeah, we got a floor switch there. Got some scrap out here. Just a thermostat. We will take thermostat. What is that? That's some flooring. Oh, there's not really a whole lot in this ship. I expected more, but that's all right. We'll take what we can. Like, we can take these canisters and everything. So what we'll do is we'll grab this pump, this RCS first, because we're gonna need that RCS for our ship anyways. And the cool thing is, once they're attached, as long as there's like conduit running to them, you're pretty much good to go. Now, it will be nice to have a proper EVA suit. As you can see, like, you've trained electrical engineering by 1%. So the more we do stuff, the more we learn, the better we get at these things, the faster we go. All right, so that was our alarm telling us we need to go take our suit off. Yeah, we know. There we go. We'll do that. That'll help us out. Not sure where we're going to install that RCS, though, because our ship's kind of cramped. We might pull these seats out and install one down here on each side. I think that might be our best bet. Well, it might not be ideal. We'll let us get another one. We could also put another one over here. But we'll have to see. Alright, so let's get our helmet back on, especially since the other ship is not airtight. There we go. Which is part of the reason I'm letting that door close before we do anything. Alright, let's finish uninstalling that. And you can get crew, and they'll do these things and restore stuff and whatnot. The whole thing. I did not want to uninstall the floor. He uninstalled the floor. I mean, it was my fault for not checking what I clicked on. But it's one of the things. So you can actually just build out your ship. And that's one of the things we may do at some point is work on building out the ship. Why are we slowing down? Again. Oh, it's CO2. This is the problem with the vac suits. Yep. I heard you. Right, helmet. There we go. This is the other reason that getting an EVA suit early on like this was super great. Now we just need a helmet to go with said EVA suit. There we go. We'll throw that back on. What is going on? Are we out of oxygen on our ship? Oh. What's going on? We've got someone just zooming past us like a madman. It's a patrol ship. Switch to comms. Message log. Okay. So we've not been messaged by anyone. It's just one of the patrol ships out there flying around like a maniac, which can happen from time to time. There we go. Put that close so we're not venting atmosphere. Alright, finish uninstalling this RCS. Yeah, the patrol ships are creative flyers, we'll say. And they will board you just to, arrest you or steal things or whatnot. I actually heard in the subreddit there's a guy who talked about one of the patrol officers boarded his ship like 3 times just to like eat the food he had saved in his fridge and stuff, and to like use the water he had saved in his water tanks and whatnot, and basically just was stealing his his hard-earned supplies because this cop, I guess, just couldn't feed himself or something. I don't know. Like the AI in this game just does some wild stuff. Speed this up a little bit more. I want to get this RCS. It's taking. So yeah, I should have spent more time developing our character's skills. There you go, and then inventory. Pop the helmet off. Go. Oh, what? You're feeling anxious. Okay. There we go. I should be feeling better. Oh, we're hungry. We are hungry. That's fine. Let's eat. So we have this trenchers, which is a kung pao chicken. It's there we go. So that's good. So we're good there. Cool. All right. So that takes care of that problem. So let's go back in here and finish getting this. Come on. Go over there. There. Finish uninstalling that, please. There we go. Yeah, the other thing that it's important to get EVA suit training for is because EVA suits actually slow down your work. Oh, don't tell me it went outside. Oh, it did. No, we don't want to. We're going to uninstall this wall. I hate to uninstall this wall, but we're going to have to do it to get the thruster, because that thruster is more important to us. There we go. Alright, come on. I know, you want to breathe. I can get this thing out of the way. There it goes. Alright. Character complaining about breathing. Actually, while we're at it, let's see here. How's our O2 tank? O2 tank properties. Be nice if I knew how much O2 was left in it. I'm feeling too greedy. Good to know. Thanks, game. And so your character develops like personality traits and stuff over time as you do things. I think this is the wall I was uninstalling, right? No, what are we doing? Cancel. It was this wall I was uninstalling. There we go. Had to find the right piece of wall section there. So I can go and get this thruster. There we go. Alright, let's go over here. Let's pick up the thruster. There we go. We can actually reinstall this thruster. I'm going to rotate it. R. We need it like that. There we go. And we'll just put it right there. So now we're going to install this thruster in our ship to give us a bit more thrust. And this is actually making our character feel pretty good, too. So I do think I'm going to install these jump seats here while we're sitting here, because we'll sell these jump seats when we get back to the station, because I don't intend on us having any crew right now. Alright, so let's do this. So uninstall. And here's the cool thing: when you set your character to auto task like I did earlier, they will just fix everything in the ship, including the stuff you picked up, which is important. The better condition it's in, the more you can sell it for, obviously. Um, so that's a very important thing to do. So what we'll do is we'll go and see about grabbing some of those tanks, because that looked like this ship that we found seems to be like an O2 hauler basically. And we're just gonna install these. Why'd you? No. Hold on. All right, where's the light? All right, hold on. I installed a light. I installed the wrong thing. It's fine. I'm not super worried about it. We can get another light. Yeah, these seats are actually kind of heavy. There we go. Make sure you get the right thing this time. Don't need to uninstall a floor panel. That would be bad. Another seat. We'll uninstall that seat. There we go. I'm actually just going to set him to auto task here for a second. Actually, what we'll do, let's slow our time back down here. And let's go put our helmet back on. And let's see what else we can grab real quick. Because I know we've got some more air pumps around. So let's see here. Got a floor pump. So let's uninstall that. Good news is that's right here next to the door. I mean, if worst comes to worst, we'll take... are we being scanned by a local authority? If worst comes to worst, we'll take this door with us. Even the door is not really super valuable. And we couldn't pry the door open. No, we've trained in civil engineering, combat engineering, construction engineering, and mechanical engineering, which is good. We're gonna grab this. So let's see here. There we go. We're gonna grab that. We're gonna bring it back into our ship. Put it with the other one. Yep. I know. We need to take this off. Put it on our belt. There we go. And we're gonna put that right there. Nice. Put our helmet back on real quick. Go back over there. I'm just going to move this ground thing over here so it's easier for me to see. What's that? That's a poster. What do we have here? Got a pump. Yeah, we'll uninstall the pump. So, the more we train those skills up, the better we get at it, the faster we'll do these tasks. Right now, we're just mostly trying to avoid being caught by the police. Since we did not start with the $5,000 to buy a salvage license. Now, funny enough, you can find salvage licenses on these ships that are still active. As a hilarious note, like, you might find someone's abandoned salvage ship, basically. And you can find them and just use them, because they don't care who's bringing in the salvage as long as there's a permit. Alright, so we'll just put that there. Actually, we'll just put it right there. There we go. Alright, let's see what else we can grab real quick. I want that. There we go. And actually, we'll put this light in our offhand. It's got batteries. So there we go. This will basically give us more light in here when we're working. So we've got an N2 can. We've got some oxygen or O2 pumps or cans here. Let's see here. What else can we get? What is that? That's another pump. So we'll grab this pump here, we'll uninstall it. Yeah, and we're actually installing faster. We're now time at times 3 instead of times 2. Possibly because we have the light. Now, the one problem with the EVA suit is it removes this backpack slot, which is unfortunate. Alright, so now let's take this back to our ship. There we go. I guess we're going to be the pump guy, the guy that sells pumps. But you know what? If it makes money, it makes money. There we go. Throw our helmet back on, because I know there's at least one more pump we can go grab. And these intakes are also sometimes pretty useful. And there's stuff outside the ship if we had a good way to go out and explore. Which, again, would be better if we had an EVA suit. Alright, we'll grab that and take that with us. Oop, that was about to be a mistake. There we go. Probably want to have a helmet on. Alright, let's see here. Let's grab this intake here. Alright, let's throw it back down time-wise. Grab this intake. We're going to take it back to the ship. And that's perfect. That'll slide in right there nicely. We'll put that right there. We'll take our helmet off real quick. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to spend some time, I'm going to auto-task my character real quick so he can just fix everything up a bit. And I'm probably going to cut this out. We're going to go ahead and turn that on and just get him fixing everything up. And I'll cut this out and we'll come back when that's done. Okay, folks. Well, we've run into a slight snag here. And that is that my battery on the ship died while I was working. Can we open this door? Okay, well, that may be a problem because we can't use our nav station. We don't have a battery that we can use, so... Well, we got a slight problem here. Not sure how we're gonna fix that. Alright, so... Looks like we're gonna have to request a tow. So it looks like we got 3 minutes until they pick us up. So, this may be a bit of a problem. Let's see here. Can we... I think we can take our helmet off for now. Well, let's work on restoring the battery while we can. It's interesting that even if we cancel this, we still have to pay $400. So want to see how the battery was doing. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to tell you. So you see when I right-click these things, it shows you what your selection options are. So battery, floor, or compartment, technically. And that's what I was missing earlier. Feels bad that I'm having to pay $500 to get a tow back to the station because I didn't pay attention to my battery. That's the problem with these little ships that don't have reactors to keep them powered. You gotta keep an eye on that battery. So we probably actually need another battery, is realistically probably what we need here. So, there we go. It's getting us in trouble. Well, while we're sitting here waiting on the tow to get here. So we have to pay $2,000 or so. Well, about $2,200 every shift. This little meter here is your shifts. So each one of these is 6 hours. So you have 6 hours to make that money and pay. Let's see here. While he's working on that, go into our roster. Nope. Let's go. Let's close out of that. Let's go to home. Is there a way for us to see its items? Files. Notes. Tasks. Orders. Site orders specific. Okay, visor. That's kind of cool. That'll show you basically stuff going on in your ship. Oh, good. There we go. The ferry service has arrived. We can board the shuttle. Confirm. And confirm. Alright. So, we may have to get a shuttle. Continue. Confirm. Alright. Yeah, our ship is, like, still... Oh, yeah, that was a mistake. Alright, so our ship was still... out there. Okay. And this is telling us that, we have to sell stuff. We can go to the black market. If we want to. There's a gig shop that will basically hire us to go get certain things. That's what it's telling us. Alright, but right now we need... Oh, we don't need a cargo pod. What is this? Ferry. Use. Alright, can we... I don't want that. It's not what I want. Is there a way for me to... That's the fuel. I was sure there was a way for us to, like, hire a tug to go get our ship. This is where we can buy supplies. So you know that like tool we were using to repair stuff? And like here we could get an EVA helmet. It'd be nice since we found an EVA suit. We even have the money to buy a new battery. So these tools are nice because they're power tools. These backpacks are also nice. They're a little better than the current backpack. Let's go see if we can find something at the salvage desk. See if they'll sell us something. Let's see what they've got. Ah, here. They've got a ship battery. They're also selling a fusion core. Wow. Okay. This might be able to get us back to the ship. Alright. So, let's go use that. And I hate how much money we're going to spend to do this. We don't have our helmet on. Oh. We can't even pry this open. Okay. So let's just come over here and alright, we're going to install this battery right here, I think. Then what we're going to have to do is get some conduit, which we know where there's some conduit. Let's hope we can get this installed before our suit runs out of air. Because we've now basically spent nearly $2,000 ferrying to and from the ship. Okay. Alright, do we finish? Does this help if I do this? Yes. Okay, so there's still enough air in here. Alright. So that's good. Alright, so let's go up here. Let's go in here. And we just need to get... Quit slowing down. There we go. There's some conduit right there. Conduit. Uninstall. Yeah, I know we're not feeling good. We're starting to feel a bit of numbness from the lack of oxygen. But we just need this piece of conduit, and then we can hook up that battery, I think. Okay. Alright, can we get this installed? Battery. It doesn't have any charge. It had charge when we bought it. Nope. That's going to be this run. Because we just passed out in an oxygen-free environment. Alright, come on. No, you need to get up. Alright, so we need to install this. Okay, pause. Let's see here. This, we need... We don't have the stuff to repair that. Okay, we don't have a motherboard. That is unfortunate. Well, get that. Let's go. Oh, you need to stop showing me this. Okay, I can just right-click this. Oh, there we go. Game over. We died because I screwed up. So there you go. That's Ostranauts. It is not an easy game necessarily. I mean, it's not difficult either, in the sense of like what you're doing and all that. But it's easy to let things get away from you, and get your character killed because you didn't pay attention to power or oxygen or fuel or some nonsense like that. So there you go. Thank you all for joining me on this. If you like this content, make sure to like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me. You all have a great one.